what is going on, everybody? This is the Anime Man here. Oh, I'm sorry. I should apologize. I should leave that to the Act Man. That's the Act Man's opening. I don't know. I wanted to kind of say I'd use the Act Man's opening at one point. Apologies to the Act Man. But anyways, I just wanted to say to everyone out there who has enjoyed my summary review videos for the entire Dragon Ball saga, fret not, for I will be, spoilers, moving on to Dragon Ball Z here in just a bit, or at some point, hopefully soon. But just before moving on to those, I did want to just tell you that I wanted to touch on some of the Dragon Ball films before moving on to Z. And yeah, so without further ado, right here, I wanted to go ahead and get right into Dragon Ball Curse of the Blood Rubies. So, Dragon Ball Curse of the Blood Rubies. What exactly is it, and what exactly does it do for the Dragon Ball lore? Two very good questions in my opinion, and honestly the latter is pretty integral when really deciding the importance of this film, if I do say so myself. An odd aspect of the film is knowing exactly when it came out. Curse of the Blood Rubies released in December of 1986 in Japan, only really a handful of months after the original anime's February 26th TV release, also in Japan. Now, when talking about the plot, Curse of the Blood Rubies essentially acts as an alternative or modified version for the origins of the anime. It most definitely goes in some new and very interesting directions, and this in my opinion being the movie's ultimate strength, as well as one of its biggest weaknesses. You see, everything about this film stems from the idea that it is not canon. And from what I understand, other than being based on his works, Akira Toriyama did not play a huge part in the production of the film, of which to me signifies that the director Daisuke Nishio, the writer Yoshifumi Yuki, and the screenplay by Toshiki Inu were all given a very comfortable amount of creative liberties. With that, what was cooked up is kind of a pseudo-Elseworld Dragon Ball original origins journey, where for the most part, most of the events that take place in the original anime's first saga play out just exactly as you would expect, with only some subtle differences. You still very much get the introductory scenes between Goku and Bulma, Oolong's shape-shifting entrance, Goku and Yamcha's dazzling battle, as well as others such as Master Roshi being introduced and him beefing up using the Kamehameha wave. But I will very much admit that in my opinion, due to the film's short 50-minute runtime, I heavily feel like much of the characterization that the anime was able to build in that first saga is largely missing within the movie. Just as an example for myself, something that I very much loved in the very first episode, when it comes to Goku and Bulma's first meeting, they have an encounter with a pterodactyl-like creature that knocks them out of the sky, and in the movie, instead of the pterodactyl creature, it's these characters Pasta and Vongo that do the knocking out of the sky, and just for me personally, I don't feel like they were anywhere near as entertaining as the pterodactyl creature, who happens to be extremely funny, and I don't know, Goku dismantles him in a very entertaining fashion. Additionally, we also don't get this super humorous scene that I always love in the original.
Hey, I know what. Look, I'll trade ya. You let me have your Dragon Ball, and I'll let you have a little peek.
What do I care about seeing your dirty old fanny?
It is not dirty, you rude little boy!
When looking at the main difference between the film as opposed to the anime, where the movie really diverges is when talking about the antagonist. Instead of getting the incredibly funny Emperor Pilaf along with his cohorts Mai and Shu, their quest to gather the Dragon Balls in order to rule the world is replaced instead by a King Gurumez, who rules over his kingdom named the Land of Gurumez. This King Gurumez, due to the discovery of something on their land called the Blood Rubies, becomes cursed with greed and an insatiable hunger that morphs his body into a giant, unrecognizable creature. It's a very, I guess you could call it, King Midas-like story. Okay, so ultimately how Goku gets involved within the plot is King Gurumez essentially sends Pasta and Vongo out along with his entire army to find the Dragon Balls so that he may wish his curse away. But of course, as you might expect, Goku has one of the Dragon Balls, his grandfather's 4-star Dragon Ball. And that pretty much summarizes everything up. Goku has his Dragon Balls taken from him, Bulma shows up at Grandpa Gohan's house and they become friends, and then they go out on a grand adventure where they meet all of our Dragon Ball buddies that we've seen from the original anime, And then they eventually get to King Guramis' castle, which looks very much like Emperor Pilaf's castle in a way, and things get concluded there. So rounding out things and returning back to the original question I asked of what exactly this movie does for the Dragon Ball lore, and I'll even add in a new question, is this film a good starting point and replacement for the original's Emperor Pilaf saga, and is it worth existing at all? Well, let me mention off a few positives at least. The soundtrack for the movie is totally fantastic. There are different renditions of some of the original songs throughout the original's first saga, and there's also just flat out some of the original songs. It's a really good mix of both worlds. Also, the animations and overall the art style is just quite a bit better than the first saga. I mean, to be fair, it is kind of expected seeing as how it's a movie budget versus a television or anime show budget, but still it is absolutely commendable and definitely easier on the eyes. Unfortunately for me, in my opinion, that's where all of the pros over the original saga kind of end. And that sends me into a thought direction of just wondering what exactly is this movie supposed to be for and who is it for? When it comes to the characterization and character building aspect, the original saga does it much better. It's far more entertaining, I like the characters better, and quite frankly the antagonist King Guramis and his army is just not as fun as Emperor Pilaf. So in kind of a sad way, I guess for me, I would say it's personally kind of a pointless watch. It's just there's so much stuff that I loved in the original saga that is kind of missing here, and it just doesn't build upon anything that was introduced in the original saga. So I guess for me, I'm just saying I would recommend this film to anyone who already has watched all of Dragon Ball and is just wanting to see something that's an Elseworld story or see something that's not canon. And for the love of everything Toriyama, whatever you do not treat this as a launching point or essentially your entryway into the Dragon Ball universe. I definitely think you should start with the original Emperor Pilaf saga and begin your journey from there. Alright, well there you go. That was kind of my opinions and my personal review on Dragon Ball Curse of the Blood Rubies. For anyone out there who may have differing opinions and actually may like this more than me or disliked it way more than me, I would very much love to hear your opinions down in the comments. And as always, please do all that like, share, and subscribe oriented stuff. If you would like to see any more content from me, please keep an eye out for anything else I post. And also, please do check out our EnteRChazmaN podcast episodes and highlights. There's also that. And finally, I just wanted to ask you guys real quick, where exactly you would like to see me go from here with terms of anime and Dragon Ball? Do you want to see me go right into Dragon Ball Z, or finish out touching on the rest of the Dragon Ball movies? Either or, please do know Dragon Ball Z ultimately is where I'm going to go eventually. So, I really hope you guys enjoyed the video. I love you guys, please be safe, and as always, I can't wait to see you on the next EnteRChazmaN. Thank you so much, guys. Adios.